I couldn't wait anymore. Hi, Terri Hardin, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer. I couldn't wait anymore because being this late is insane for me. Happy Monday, everybody. For those of you who are first joining me, you're like, didn't the first thumbnail I saw about Jane Withers say 9:25? It did. You are correct. You are not hallucinating. Those of you who know me are wondering why. I may be 2 minutes late, but how can I be this late today? Glitches, 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 glitches on glitches on glitches on glitches on glitches on glitches on glitches. With a few glitches sprinkled in. Okay, we're good. All right. Excellent. Okay, sorry. Happy Monday is all I can tell you. Without going into a huge drawn out explanation, which is what I usually do, this morning, the broadcast just would not happen. It would not grab hold. And then I used this amazing platform, StreamYard, which you may remember if you've been with me a while. There was a cute little mallard duck up here, and now there's my logo. But they really worked out all my glitches. They helped my glitches. I'm one of these people that if it's not able to be operated by a 5-year-old, I get concerned about being able to do it at all because I'm 64 years old and I'm not tech savvy. So what happened is early this morning when I went to broadcast with my tribe on Patreon, and feel free to join me over there if you like, patreon.com/Terri Hardin. When I went to go see them, it wouldn't take. Up here we can see who's kind of watching, and it kept doing this kind of thing up here in the corner, and it looked like people couldn't join me. You couldn't be a part of the live broadcast. And I got to tell you, I used to really freak out with technology and get upset. But now I realize that I've got to breathe because it's so wonderful to talk to you, not only all over my home state of California, but all over the country, all over the world. And I need to just cut it some slack sometimes when it doesn't work, right? So I took a big breath and I just kept trying to figure out, was it me or was it them? And when I finally got back into StreamYard, it had blown away all my broadcasts. So now I'm 10, 15 minutes late with my tribe, all trying to get on and seeing me start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. And I got on, but then I got off early and StreamYard let me know that Facebook has a caveat. You have to start a certain amount of time from the time you set the broadcast or you start immediately. You don't have anywhere in between to do that. So I got off at 9:20 today, hoping that caveat was 5 minutes. But by the time I put everything together, it was 10. And so hence we're here. Hi, happy Monday. What does this say to you? When the craziness continues to be crazy, hang in there, keep punching, and don't give up. Just there, I think also if I can, give myself a little kudos is consistency. You know that I promise that I'm going to be here unless I let you know that I'm not going to be here, correct? So you knew I was coming. You just weren't sure what was going on. You can bet dollars to donuts that it's because I can't get on and I am fighting the good fight to see if I can be sure to help you to get what needs to be gotten done and get it, together. So here I am to talk about Jane Withers, who we lost yesterday. Now, are some of you saying, Jane Withers? So Jane Withers was a child star. And to be honest with you, I really didn't watch her much when she was a child actress. She was in a couple of things, but I didn't remember her quite well. And then when I met her, I heard her speak and I said, wait a minute, you were in Giant. And she said, why, yes, I was. And Giant is one of my favorite Elizabeth Taylor movies. I just love it. Get your spinning wheels, girls, It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. And Jane plays a lovely, warm hearted person in that movie. But where I really flipped out is that I noticed right away that she was Josephine the plumber. Now, remember, I'm 64. So if you're saying to yourself, Josephine the what? I think you could probably find it on YouTube. You can, forgive me, you can find a lot of things on YouTube, and you can probably find some of her commercials there. I would imagine that YouTube will pull them up if it's the proper rights to her intellectual property and that of the commercial. But she was a darling as Josephine the plumber. Darling lady. Now, so her career was vast. She had a long and lovely life. And like many of you out there, and myself included, she was a huge collector. She was the collector to beat all collectors. And when we met her, that was what we were talking to Jane Withers about. My dear friend, Cami Kidder, shout out to Cami Kidder, a documentary photographer and filmmaker. And she came up with this little story well before reality. She even did pitch to reality shows, but sometimes this is why you got to protect your intellectual property, and why it's so important is that she started to pitch a show, and she suspects that when she was pitching the show, they got the idea and they just sort of put a little spin on it and did their own version and didn't ask her to be a part of it. We will never know that, but it crosses your mind when you say something and all of a sudden something pops up, right? So she was doing a story about people in their storage containers, and lo and behold, we crossed paths with the amazing Jane Withers. And Jane had bought the wedding dress, Julie Andrews' wedding dress from Sound of Music. How does that fit? Yeah. Whoa. And to see some of her pieces was really an exciting adventure. But what really made it more fun and exciting was that it was coming from Jane. So Jane was able to sit and tell us her stories in that amazing voice. This is probably about maybe 15, 20 years ago. Time flies, time just flies, and you go, wah, wah, wah. And then we have that weird pandemic year in there, so it threw all of our years off, didn't it? We're kind of like 2 years, 1 year, because the pandemic you either eliminated from your brain, which is almost impossible to do, or you're adding more years than you thought, because it felt like a decade that we were under lockdown, didn't it? For many. I know that it was a very strange time for all of us, and still is. But anyway, so meeting Jane was an extra bonus, because Cami and the group of us, we met all these wonderful people that had showed us their storage units. If you own a storage unit, one of the things with Cami was trying to do with her documentary was to point out how much money that you have invested if you add it all up, and some of the pitfalls of owning and benefits of owning a storage unit, including, you may have seen, I think it's called Storage Wars, where they bid on the storage units. This is a normal practice. This also popped up suspiciously after her documentary. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, Anyway, she interviewed people, and we were all together with people that had, for example, a storage unit that they kept because it stored a loved one's things that had passed away, and your whole body just wasn't ready to go through their items and things because it was too painful for you. We saw a lot of people like that. I remember they interviewed one lady who was absolutely adorable. When she threw up her storage units, she had probably 15 or so bridesmaids dresses. Did you ever see that movie 28 Dresses, which also came after? I'm not inferring anything, but it was really interesting, because as she was showing us the dresses, she was going through and showing us all the bridesmaids dresses, and she said, "This is my version of always a bridesmaid, never a bride." And she had a real lovely sense of humor about it. But while Cammie was filming this and she was speaking, she was, in the storage unit going through the dresses, and there was a rat that had been I shouldn't laugh. Poor little thing. He was trapped under the vole, the what is that called? Anyway, that lace, that's kind of sharp lace you find tutus are made of. Tutus are made out of soft lace, and tutus are made out of harder, scratchier. This was kind of the scratchier overlay. And he was like in jail. He was pressed going like this. So he must have gotten trapped in one of the dresses and could not find his way out. And unfortunately, he passed away. And then the heat in the storage unit dehydrated his poor little body. So she was like, "Ee!" And there, poor little thing, mushed in there in one of the dresses. So her documentary was very interesting. We ran into, people were talking about, why do you keep it? Or in some cases, some said, "My gosh," when she said, "Do you realize you've spent up and above $30,000 and you could have put a good down payment on a house or whatever." And some were really surprised to hear that. And others were like, "Yeah. Mm-hmm." Well, Jane had several of these storage units. So her house was full of collection. And then she had, I think, 2 other big warehouses full of collection. And so it was really something to hear about some of the artifacts that she had managed to collect from the movies that she was in and also movies that she admired. And we kept thinking, we've ran into a couple of people like this who have these amazing collections that it would be nice to create a little museum because she had these gorgeous things. I think now, and I could be wrong, but I think she may have been fortunate enough before she passed that the Academy, who is just opening a new museum, they're getting ready to open one in the fall, not the winter, the fall, that she probably sold a lot of her collection went to the Academy Museum, and she got credit for it. I think that's what happened. Anyway, I hope that's what happened. Forgive me for having my shake because I got to have breakfast. Breakfast, most important meal a day. And if I'm broadcasting, I certainly can't do this in front of y'all. So drinking a shake is a little less intrusive and annoying. So I hope you'll forgive me for that. But anyway, so it was lovely to have the opportunity to walk through these collections with this amazing Jane Withers. And I just thought today it would be good to talk about someone who was dynamic, who was exciting, who was lovely. And you may be saying, Terri, you talk a lot about Disney. What does Jane have to do with Disney? And she did a lot of voices for Disney in her later years. I'm not sure exactly which ones, but if you Googled it, I do know that I recognized it on several things, and I'm just excited. So she did voiceovers in her later years, and that's kind of the way a lot of these actresses who have these cool voices, these actors are going into voiceover. And why not? Because it's a fun, entertaining field to do. I've been a voiceover artist for some time, and it's a fun field to do, and it's a very exciting process. So that's the Jane Withers story. And like I said, a sweet, cute, she always had this like roundish moon face, and when she smiled, it just lit up. If you haven't seen Giant, and in Giant, she's a blonde, and I'm used to her having darker hair, as you saw on my thumbnail. She really is quite she was a dynamic, wonderful human being, and always sparkly. I think I hadn't seen her in several years, as I mentioned earlier in this broadcast, but always a sparkly, perky personality. She was just bright as a button. And when you meet people like that, it's very exciting. So Jane Withers, we're glad that you went. We're sorry to see you go, because we are all the worst for it, but we're happy for you as you go collect your wings and meet and get back together with a lot of your old friends that you've missed. And you'll probably hear from Walt. Walt will tell you how good your voices have been. But I'm very excited for her that she had such an illustrious and wonderful career and collection. You should really Google her collection. She had some really, really beautiful choice pieces. Just fantastic. Just fantastic. So I thought I'd talk about her today because I love her. And in a minute, I'll go over and hear what your comments are. But I wanted to let you know that hopefully sometime this week, I will let you know about my pumpkin sculpting class. I did mention that I was going to, this is one of my pumpkins, just so you can see. This is a different style than I teach, but I can teach any style. And I'm going to have a live class on October 30th. Look for the announcement, and I will talk more about it on this Friday's Ask Me Anything. Every Friday, I do an Ask Me Anything. You can ask me anything. And this class will be happening. And it will be in Anaheim, about 5 miles from Disneyland. So I will give you an info on how to sign up, and you can sign up. Okay. All right. It will fill up fast. So, if it looks like something you'd like to do and you want to be right there next to me side by side live, then great. Also, I am offering a virtual class for those of you not in California or not in Southern California, 5 miles from Disneyland. I will be offering that the weekend before. And I know some of you will say, oh my goodness, you're going to have to buy your own pumpkin, which is the one thing I find troubling about virtual classes, is that I can't help you choose a pumpkin. But I will tell you what kind of pumpkin as soon as you register. I'll also hook you up, let you know about tools. If you have any questions, you will have a direct connection to me. And that way we can, talk about the virtual class. I did it last year for the pandemic, and a lot of great folks showed up. It was a lot of fun, but I realized that I want to make sure that you can get the tools. I had one couple, they were just adorable. They did not have the loop tools I use. So we had them open their kitchen drawer and show me with the camera. And I kept saying, do you have a melon baller? Do you have a fork? Do you have a peeler? Anything we could find, because they didn't have the tools. So I want to help you with that as well. But if you are distant and you can't make it, the virtual class will happen. And then buy 2 pumpkins, or a small one. I'll show you how you can preserve it a little bit for the next week, which is Halloween, or you can sculpt another one and see how well you retained what I was teaching you. But in any case, they're both going to be fun. I will announce more of those this Friday. I want to make sure that the website pages are working. And, after today, you get a little skittish because you want to make sure everything is linking properly and not not charging where it shouldn't, all of those things that happen when you first post something up. Want to make sure that it's following through. Okay, let's go to you guys. I'm eager to see what you all have to say today because, man, it was a crazy day, wasn't it? Crazy to start off with. Hello, Nate. Good to see you, my friend. Very sweet of you to join us. Yay, you made it. I know, Bob. It was a morning. They say never let you see back of the house. I felt like a restaurant today as I was, scrambling like a crazy person all day. It was pretty nutty. But I'm here. Good morning, Debbie Smith. And hello to my playful ghost. I mean, seriously. Okay, so another thing that I happened to mention to my husband about playful ghosts, and I'm glad you brought this up, Mike Clark, because I wanted to let you know, if you are the adopted parents of the Hitchhiking Ghost, and you were supposed to get you're one of the 5 people, I can only release 5 a month, but we hit a huge speed bump, better known as a wall, and production has been delayed. And so I'll be speaking with those 5 that were waiting to get theirs. I think you were waiting to get yours in late June, and July passed, and many of you reached out and I said, we're having trouble with the electronics getting sent to us. Turns out the electronics they're sending us are the wrong ones, and the real estate inside these little ghosts is so it's like owning beachfront property in California, if you really want to know. Or beachfront property. Yeah, let me just say beachfront property in California, and you know what I mean, right? So let me just give you a little bit of visual here so that you can see what I'm talking about just really quickly. So I'm not, but this is the set of ghosts right here. And those of you who have adopted these playful ghosts, as Mike is talking about, those 5, the delay, as soon as we get the electronics, I'm hoping that you guys will get yours quickly. But that's been the problem. And honestly, what's frustrating for me is that I will not be making anything that lights up in the near future for a long, long while. So if you like the way these are, what's really beautiful about them is that they look like little specters on your shelf. The lighting has been designed by myself and my team to not just look like a light bulb. It's to look like a little specter. So if we go back here, you'll notice how the light shines through, his leg kind of goes through his carpet bag. I also did the cloak. And if any of you have been to Disneyland, all of a sudden Disneyland decided to redo this hitchhiking ghost in what? The cloak. So was it my fault? I'm going to say yes. But they're very lovely. They're very exciting. If you go to my online store, go to terrihardin.com, click on the word online above my head, you can go and see what's at the store. I also have a black light set, which is an external lighting system. Obviously, I just provide you with a few black lights, a couple of black lights, but you can set them up, and it's the light you shine on them that changes them. They are a little less of an investment. So you can, here are my ghosts here, various on the shelf. This is my iPhone taking this picture, so the picture isn't as good. But you can kind of see how you can separate them. That's how you requested them. And then here is the blacklight version. And this blacklight version, you can see, is an external source. They are less of an investment than the other ones. But the other ones, I only have 8 sets left. And here I have quite a few sets left. The light up ghosts that you see here, these ghosts are limited to 50 sets. I only have 8 sets left. But these are limited to 100 sets, and I have quite a few sets left just because I haven't been promoting them, because I've had this push me pull you with the main hitchhiking ghosts. So this is just to give you an idea. Thank you for your patience, all of you adoptive parents who have already purchased them. I'm looking at worst case scenario, September, and maybe cross your fingers. If you're going to the Disneyana show and sale, I can just hand them to you there. And if you paid for shipping and I can do that for you, I will return the cost for shipping to you, which was like $14 or something, $14.50 or something like that. So if you can see me at a Disney show and sale, at the Disneyana show and sale, which happens on September 12th, then we can actually, those 5 people. And then the other 5, I hope, will be coming shortly after that. Because, yeah. So don't, breathe like I'm breathing. I have never been so delayed on a project in my life. It is really, I hope you understand, it is really killing me. It is a really hard thing that I don't want to go through anytime soon again. I just don't. So no electronics. No. Someone suggested with the Roly Crump chess set, which I am working on now, have a light up chessboard. And I told that person if they wanted to make it happen and we could offer it separate from the Roly Crump chess set that I'm creating, great. But I don't want to go through what I'm going through now. This has been like hanging from your fingernails for 2 years, almost 2 years. And it's just been tough. And the only thing that has made me feel better about it is you adoptive ghost parents. The other thing is those of you who have been, who received the earlier sets have been doing nothing but praising how beautiful they are and how the photos don't do them justice. And thank you for taking the time to post your pictures and your testimonials to help the adoptive parents who are waiting and waiting and waiting to hang in there, because they are stunning. They are the Cadillac of your Hitchhiking Ghost collection. They are an experience from the time you open the priority mailbox to the time you get to the ghosts and turn them on. They are an amazing experience. And if you happen to be an adoptive parent and you're on today, please tell us in the comments right now how much you love them, because this is not because I am a flaky artist. This is not because I am torturing you. I am honestly trying to keep you as informed. I feel like I have a Kickstarter project. You ever back a Kickstarter project? Ugh, this feels like that. Yeah, this feels like, you know, how they send you and they go, well, there's several things that during the pandemic, like for example, I have something that I got for my husband's birthday for 2019. In 2019, they ran into a delay also because of the inner workings of their electronics that I wanted to get for him. And then in the pandemic hit, that was December 2019. And that's when I purchased it. In 2020, the pandemic hit. They finally had to say around April, we can't do anything until 2021. We can't even look at it. We can't, we're so sorry, but we're delayed a year. And that was, I really feel like a Kickstarter project. I know everybody is working really hard to meet their deadlines, but the pandemic is causing a lot of challenges. And if you've seen all over the world how it's really affecting people over and over and over again. In fact, I don't know if you read about Paris, but Paris is requiring by, I guess it's September 15th, that you have proof of your vaccine. They're done. They're done playing. And there's a lot of other countries that are doing the same thing. They're just done. They're up to here with the no vaccine, with the viruses that are incubating and creating other variants and worse monsters coming, that they want to get their people vaccinated so that if these variables come, they can figure out a way to better, combat it. And I think when you watch world news, that really puts it in perspective. You know, in California, our vaccination rate jumped, and I'm so happy to hear that more and more people were getting vaccinated. But we're one state in 50 last time I looked. And then there's the world, and the world is constantly being challenged. In fact, I just had a lovely chat with beautiful Jenny G. Many of you know her for her beautiful paintings. She and I were having a discussion yesterday on how Canada is becoming just a big mess. She's got a live show coming up this weekend, and she's just not sure if there's going to be people coming out because everybody doesn't want to get into these live things. So what does that mean for the Disneyana Fan Club show and sale on September 11th to 12th? What does that mean for Marceline the weekend following that? What does that mean for all of us who are traveling to hopefully be there to see all of you? We don't know. So when in doubt, vaccinated or no, wear a mask when you're out in a group, and definitely indoors if there is a lot of people indoors. Or here's something you can do: plan your places you want to go and see on the off hours. A lot of places have off hours, so you can go. And if you're somebody, because nobody likes wearing a mask, we don't go, wow, woohoo, we get to wear a mask today. As a man on a podcast I was listening to the other day, he just said, you think we like wearing them. We don't. We just we want this to end. And so if a mask can possibly make the difference, why not? We've done it already for a year, rather than, being spoiled and acting like a mask is, I don't want to. We don't want to either. But honestly, we do it because when in doubt, we wear a mask, and we know that works. Even if you have we were talking about the other day, if you have a cold, you wear a mask. We just go, hey, we're protecting others. I think that's mainly what the thought is. So I hope if you're one of those people who is contemplating getting vaccinated, that you go get vaccinated, because you deserve it for yourself and to protect others. Because now in certain countries, they're saying that their vaccinated people are carrying it. In Canada, she was saying that they realized that now vaccinated people can be carriers. So please don't do that to yourself. You don't want to live with that, right? So anyway, there's the vaccine pitch. whoop, whoop, done. But as people who broadcast live on social media of any kind, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, I think it is our obligation to say to you, please, get vaccinated. And if you're, if the jury is out and you're concerned for whatever reason, get some, sit and chat with your doctors about it. People who are of science that you trust, talk to them so that they can give you the real skinny on it so that you can be safe. I don't want to lose you, whoever you are out there. I don't. So I hope you will. Okay. So like you said, Mike, back to the ghosts, playful ghosts playing with me every day. And I'll be so excited when I can get to the Rolly Crumb chess set. Good morning, Angie. Angie is lovely because she acts like everything is just life and fun. I love her for that. Like, she pops it. I'm here. I'm ready. I was waiting. I knew you'd be there, Terry. That's Angie. She's right there every time, waiting. So I appreciate that, Angie. Welcome. Hello. And Tracy is another one. Thank you so much. Wendy Cooper, how are you? I'm back to work after being out for 3 months. Congratulations, Wendy Cooper. How does it feel? Are you in the office or working satellite? So a lot of places have people that realize they like working at home and it works just fine. So, for example, people of Facebook, many from Amazon, people from Apple, people from various places who are the high-tech creative gurus have found that they can do it remotely just as easily and more effectively. And these companies have discovered they can save some money. And we know how companies are when they find out they can save some money, correct? So many of you out there may have discovered that your employer has realized you're fine at home. And what that means is, thank you, internet and social media and platforms of various kinds, allow you to live anywhere in the world almost. Yeah. In some cases, it probably needs to be anywhere in the country, but anywhere in the world almost you can do your job and therefore possibly create a life for you that you might not have been able to create because you were in a big city and you needed to be there in order to earn a living. Now, many are saying, hey, and many of you are saying, hey, guess what? I can do this from over there. So congratulations, Wendy. I'm glad that you're back to work. It sounds like you're excited. So I hope that I didn't read that comment wrong and that you are excited because I'm excited for you. Hello, Crystal. How are you? Josephine the Plumber. Lord, that's a blast from the past. It is. How are you, Crystal? I haven't heard from you in a while. Yeah, Josephine the Plumber is a blast from the past. And the thing I'm realizing as I get through each decade of my life, 60s are extremely entertaining and I can't wait till I'm older. I really get excited every year doing, as I say, many people feel like it's doing time on planet Earth. I really think it's a joyful experience. Each year brings a new realization. And one of the epiphanies of being in the 60s is the get off my lawn mentality. You really don't want people around you that are poison. You just done. In your 20s, you're kind of dealing with it because you're trying to make your mark, right? So you kind of deal with the haters and the difficult people and people in your work community that are kind of nasty. You just go, oh, I'll put up with it because I really have a mission to my success, right? And then in the 30s, you're as old as you feel, you're as young as you feel, but you're too old for that. You know what? That garbage. And you can decide whether or not in your 30s to do it or not based on I'm as young as I feel, but I'm too old for that. You can say that at 30. And I often do, things that people say, hey, come, let's do that. If it doesn't feel right to me, then I say, I'm too old for that. I did in my 30s. In my 40s, I felt that my spine as a human being started to grow in, and I started to realize that being in a destructive work environment was something I needed to make a plan to get out of, or situate myself so I wasn't constantly in that position. In the entertainment industry, this can happen a lot, and you can't always do it. Okay. I'm just saying, but at the fort, you stand up for yourself. Somebody says something to you. Sometimes you used to internalize it before you're 40. And I can only speak for a woman because guess what? I am one. But but I can tell you from a woman's point of view, if somebody says a nasty comment, a suggestive comment, or whatever in your 40s, you just start you start to grow your claws. You start to and by 50, that spine is in there. It is that titanium. Is that what the Wolverine's claws are made out of? That's your spine. And man, you don't take nothing from nobody. You're not mean about it, but if they say something about you that's not right, you're right back there. 50s are a great, after all, it's a benchmark, isn't it? Right? It's half a century, right? People don't have, I'm half a century old. Ah! For some women, this is really devastating. For me, it's like, wow, I feel kind of like I got it. I made it half a century. But the point is that half a century mark puts a spine of the same material that Wolverine's claws are made out of. And it's amazing. The transformation that goes through you as you travel through your 50s is phenomenal. Well, 60s is, if you don't like it, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Plain and simple. You don't like what I'm saying? I love you. You're great. You're wonderful. Just move on. Change the channel. Go somewhere else. All right? And it doesn't affect you. Somebody saying something nasty to you, someone saying something nasty to you, let me speak and articulate. A lot of times we'll ingest it, and it's not good when you ingest it. And you can't always do this. Even at 60, when someone derails me and I'm not ready for it, it does hurt. But what I've realized is that not to keep it inside, get it out as though it was a piece of bad meat that you ate, or if you're vegan or vegetarian, bad tofu, if you will. Whatever it is, just get it up and out and be done with it. Your body won't keep it. Why should you? Poison is only effective if you take it. So at the 60s, it's a get off my lawn. I'm done. If a person starts coming at you and accusing you of stuff, you tend to rear up like a cobra. And then, or a tiger, and you just go, stop. What is the matter with you coming at me like this? You are completely wrong. How dare you? And that is what's been happening with my 60s. If somebody accuses me of something and it is not right, I stop them right there. I also realized that, life is, when you're in your 60s, you say to yourself, you start to lose many of your friends. They pass on, they go to collect their wings, and you start to say, my time is so valuable. How am I going to spend it? Your time is so valuable. How are you going to spend it? And if you find yourself spending it in such a way that is irritating, annoying, or upsetting you, you got to take a moment, breathe, go to a place that really makes you feel good. Your garden, your beach, your nature spot, Disneyland. And for many of you, that is exactly where you love to go to kind of breathe, is Disneyland, Downtown Disney, Walt Disney World. That all makes you feel better. And that, if that's your happy place, you go there and you kind of give yourself a moment, love on yourself, because you're a human being and you're a blessing in this world. Don't ever forget it. You are a blessing. And I'm so grateful that every single one of you is on the planet. But if a nasty person is out there and they've made you feel bad, then take a moment to think about it and then come back and tell them they're done. Because your time is, you can't get time back. And we only have so many hours in the day. I wish I had more. In fact, yesterday, my husband, in a loving way, said, you could be taking on too much. And in the next week or so, I'm going to discuss this with my tribe because they are my peeps. And it doesn't mean you're not. It just means that the tribe is a place where I can help people once a week on a Zoom call, and they in turn can help me. And I'm very grateful because when I set up my Patreon page, I didn't realize it was going to be something like this. And it's such a uh, a great feeling to know I have a body of friends that when I am in a situation that I just don't know which way to turn, or I want to know what they're, I need to talk to some people who I know have my back. That's Terri's Tribe on Patreon. Terri Hard, patreon.com/Terri Hardin, or go to Patreon and just put my name, Terri Hardin, in the search engine and you'll find me. And $5 a month, $60 a year, you can be a part of that. But it's a blessing for me too, because it allows me to spend this time and talk with you on times that you need, whatever it can be, help you, give you some love, whatever. And you in turn do the same to me. And it's a great group. So if you have a voice or you just need that pick me up, everyone in the tribe does that. They are such a great group that I love them, love them, love them. So this is nice. And it's nice to have this circle of friends. And you know what I mean? Because you probably have your own. You may have your girlfriends that you used to go out with, or you get on the phone, guy friends and stuff like that. The guy who did the podcast talked about how he lost a friend. He lost him to COVID. And they were a group of men who used to go to Vegas and play fantasy football. And they skipped the pandemic, obviously. They lost their dear friend of many years. And then they virtually did this fantasy football. I don't know much about fantasy football. Sports aren't my thing. But his message was true and clear. And that was that as they all watched fantasy football, they actually called each other and said, is this missing? I mean, how are you feeling about this fantasy football thing that we're doing this today? I'm feeling like I don't care. And his other friends said, me too, because they had lost their friend. And now something that was fun was painful. And so he says, by wearing a mask, you're keeping yourself maybe from planning someone else's funeral. And I thought his take on it was quite profound. He didn't get on the news waves and tell you how awful you are if you don't want a vaccine, which that never works. And that's also attacking your character. If you choose not to have a vaccine and someone attacks your character, you automatically are going to put your claws up. And well, you should, because no one should attack your character. They should try to work with you to help you to understand the importance of the vaccine, because you are not a bad person. You are someone who is on the fence. And it's our job, and social media, it's scientists' job, it's doctors' jobs to help you understand it so you no longer are concerned about it. That's the way it should be. You are a human being, you are a blessing, and it's you deserve to not be judged because of your position. But we can't back off because we care about you, those of us who have been vaccinated. So with all the love in my heart, with all the strength in my being, please seek someone out like your doctor or health professional, or even a caregiver who's been having to tell people as they die that the vaccine is too late. You know those people. You have someone in your circles that you can sit down and calmly discuss your position, and then be calm as they discuss their position and why they want you to move forward with a vaccine. Okay? I hope I've said that in a way that's not upsetting people, because that's not my job. I mean, I don't want to upset you. I just want you to understand that I want you to be safe. I mean, I really do. And this is my belief. Okay. If, people have said there's no chance you're going to convince them, stop talking about it, blah, 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 blah. But we don't quit. We're not quitters. We don't give up. We want to try to help you in any way we can because we love you. Okay? So understand a lot of people, and if they're attacking your character, that's the wrong person to be talking to. Okay? Because that's not what this is about. All right? Okay. So, yeah. So Josephine the plumber, back to the what Crystal is saying, she was adorable. The woman looked super cool in overalls. I think she's the reason I love overalls, as Josephine the plumber. So I bet you can see her on YouTube because YouTube has everything, including some really, really ancient spot, not commercial. Yeah, there's an ancient commercial that I did that someone found. Talking envelopes from United Air Express. And rather than you trying to find it or Google it, just go into my playlists. I linked to that in the playlist. That's the commercial that got me my union Screen Actors Guild card. And yes, puppeteers are on-camera performers like your Nicole Kidmans and your Tom Cruises, et cetera, but we act with the puppet characters instead. Yep, so little sideline, but yes. It must be Monday. That's what I said, Leo. Happy Monday. What day is it? Monday? That's it. 12. That's it. 12. Anyway, don't drink shake before you're going to say that. But that's exactly right. That's where he was captured under. Leave it to you to help me out. I have most of my belongings in storage since 2011. I spent a lot of money in the past 10 years. And Wendy, you see how you think about it? This was the whole idea between Cami Kidder's store documentary, was to just shake people up a little and make them just kind of considered. Now, if you're shaken, okay, you go, whoa, I spent a lot of money. And you go, but I want that money there because of the pain I'm feeling, whatever the reason is. Or you say, whoa, I got to fix that. Either way, she's got you thinking about it. And I thought it was really a very, very clever documentary, because some people just sat down and said, yeah, what am I doing? Others were stories of people who had moved away and paid long distance to a storage unit. And then when they went to go get their things, found their things were gone. So you want to be sure you have someone, if you are out of state and you do have a storage unit, it might be a good idea, I mean, if you're concerned, to have someone go over and make sure you are paying on actual storage facility with your stuff in it. Always just a smart thing to do. I can't imagine storage units are doing this on a regular basis, but we did have a couple of stories in store about people who discovered that they had been paying and paying only to find there was no storage unit to pay. Then we also interviewed people who own storage facilities. Cammie's father is actually one, who, when the person becomes delinquent on their storage unit, what they find inside. One guy said that when he opened it up, he found several aquariums full of venomous snakes. How about that when you unlock it? You kind of feel like snakes. Why'd it have to be snakes? Right? Right. So you just never know. Odd and strange things. I think many people who own storage units said that they were very upset about what they, like if they found photos or they found documents that might be important. Now, many times the people who own a storage unit, if they're able to do it, will try to get at least those documents back to you. But it is very hard for them when they see personal items that mean a lot to you, you know. And we had some good friends in a desert community who threw up their storage unit for the first time in 5 years and said, we think our mom is in here, her ashes in a storage unit. We're not sure, but we think this is where we put mom 5 years ago. So can you imagine a guy coming across that because the person is forgotten, passed away or whatever? It's just a good idea, if you have a storage unit, visit it and just be sure everything's cool. This is kind of not me talking. This is the doc, Cami Kidder's documentary. You know, I ought to tag Cami Kidder on this. I sure am talking a lot about her today. She's an amazing She does beautiful documentaries, and congratulations to her. She was married in October of, I think she was married in October last year. I think it was. Yeah. Anyway, when it no, it was, it was sometime where she could get over to Hawaii. I can't remember the day. See what I mean? There's a funny meme that says the days have names. These are kind of the things that you run into with this pandemic. So cut yourself some slack. Yes, a great lady and a superstar. We were friends. As a matter of fact, we have a present for her that we never gave her. Rest in peace, a true star from Hollywood heyday. Yeah, so there you go. You see what I mean? Yeah, Jane is quite a lovable, wonderful. She was a warm and outgoing person. Good morning, everyone. Have a happy day. Off to work. Yeah, Michael is like the hokey pokey. He puts his left foot in, says, "Hi, how you doing? Gotta run," and then his left foot out, and he's gone. So, yay, Michael! Thank you for popping in and saying hello. He always wants you to have his good wishes before he takes off for work. Isn't that sweet? Yeah, I thought so. Good morning, Jerry Cornell. Now, Jerry Cornell and I are two people that always ask, are you going to the Disney and a Fan Club show and sale? Because a lot of time, if we can get within vicinity of each other, our tables, we like to do that. So, hi, Jerry. How are you? See? What did I say? Disney and a show and sale? It's like we can read each other's minds. Jerry's also a member of the tribe, Terry's tribe on Patreon. And he's patient like everything because of the spotlight I keep telling I'm going to post. And Lindsay and I this week are trying to take care of those threads that are hanging. There's so many. So thank you for being patient, Jerry, and any of the tribe who's done a spotlight. Spotlight is about you, and we get to see it live, but sometimes we don't get to see it live. And then I do like a special spotlight version that doesn't give you everything because we do them on Zoom calls. And so if you attend the Zoom call, you get the whole thing. But when I repost it, it's got a few things. It's the edited down version. Those are the words I was looking for. It's the edited down version. But for a while, I haven't been doing that simply because I've just been so crazy busy. And sometimes you're just like barely keeping your head above the water. Beep, beep, so cut yourself some slack. This is the way that's happening right now. Good morning. Thank you, Connie. It's always a pleasure to see you, my love. I hope you are well. Morning, says Deanna. Morning. Good morning. Hi, Leslie. I get to be here while getting ready to go into the office. It's a rare treat that I get to see you here, but a blessing to have work and been allowed to go into the... Yes! Now, that's lovely. Leslie works on the Walt Disney Pictures lot. And just like everybody else, Walt Disney Pictures was very, very well, as you know, stifled, slowed down, and in some cases stopped because of the pandemic. Many of the people are... with Walt Disney Pictures, as with a lot of corporations, do you feel like coming to the office or not was the way of the way. So, Leslie, we're glad you're going back on campus, and congratulations. I'm so happy that you do have work, and you're very good at what you do. So that's great news. Yay! Hello, all from Deanna. I love and adore mine so much. They're such an incredible piece of art. Must have for any Haunted Mansion collector, because nothing compares to these haunty, amazing ghosts. Thank you, Nate. So sweet of you to post it. So many were like, the pictures are great, and I was like, just hang in there, guys, because they are coming. There's no way you're not going to get them. But believe me, once all 50 are sold, they're sold. I won't be making any more. No. And I actually am thanking God that there's only 50 sets, because, what hard work. But those of you who have them know that every bit of the blood, sweat, and tears is in those beautiful little ghosts. And thank you for saying that, Nate. I really appreciate it. Theme park gals, hey! How are you? Theme park gals work in human resources, and we're having difficulty finding people that want to work. And one of us is recruits from all over the USA. Well, hey, theme park gals. I guess you should put a link to your broadcast and talk to people. I understand that the TikTok has, what's it called? TikTok resumes. Now, why would I know that at 64? Because I learned that you kind of look at what's trending when you're doing your hashtags. I haven't done TikTok in a while because it's still an enigma. So I've been kind of hokey pokey about it too. My right foot in for a little bit, my right foot out. I look at it and go, am I getting this? You know, whew. But there they have TikTok resumes, and I guess you can actually ask somebody to come, So I don't know how your employer feels about it, but you might make that pitch to them and see if they want to, or they may turn to you, my amazing gals, and say to you, we're on it. And you'll be like, what? Or you may be able to say to me, we're on it. And I'll be, what? But it might help you to do that. But that's what I'm hearing. Not so much that they don't want to work, but they don't want to go into an office. Many are saying, I don't want to go into the office. I like it right where I am. Thank you. And in some cases, companies are saying, there's no need for you to come in the office. We think we're going to optimize what we're doing because, hey, satellite things are pretty cool. The challenge is with a satellite office, when you have your people off campus, for lack of a better word, is that sometimes when a glitch like has happened today happens to them, they're kind of, they can't just run up and hand it to you like the old fashioned way, because where are you in the world? So there's that kind of a challenge too. But I think both have their pros and their cons, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You don't necessarily have to live where you work now, and I think that's nice for many. We are vaccinated and we're masked, and we always talk about it. Yeah, the theme park gals are, like many of us, hand in hand with other human beings, trying to give you as much inspiration and information as we can. Understand, we're not scientists. We just care about you. And that's why we all say, find someone in authority. Don't get financial advice from your deadbeat brother-in-law. I can't remember. I think that was probably Zig Ziglar, who has passed now, but he always had these amazing, he would have these amazing quotes that he would do. I love listening to Zig. And he would say, what is the benefit of getting financial advice from your deadbeat brother-in-law? And I used to find that so funny, because he's not necessarily saying all brother-in-laws are deadbeats. That's not what he's saying. He's just saying, if you have a deadbeat and he happens to be related to you, this is not the person to get financial advice from, right? And that's the same across the board. Don't ask someone who has no scientific base, do you think I should get the vaccine? If they're like, and they're telling you, don't, because they fill your head with fear and terror and whatever, and yet they're not based in science or caregiving or any kind of authority position, doctor, nurse. You know what I'm saying? When I go to visit my mother in the convalescent hospital, I have to have my temperature checked, touchless, so they don't touch me. And which, that they don't point it. They don't even actively. I can take my wrist and hold it up to the little place that they've indicated, and it takes my temperature. Beep. So I don't even have to kneel down, put my head in front of it. I just put my wrist up and it takes my temperature. And then they make sure I'm wearing an N95 mask, because they want my mother and the 2 roommates she has protected. And then finally, they give me a COVID test that they know the answer in 2 minutes. Can you believe it? 2 minutes. I'm not kidding. And every time I visit her, every Tuesday, every time I have to take this test. So I don't know why. And maybe if you are someone in authority, okay, can tell me why this seems to be so simple and easy, where we're worrying about 72 hours, 42 hours to give somebody a test. They had me the little, thing you stick up your nose, the little swab that goes up your nose, with your face, because mine feels like I'm getting a root canal from my nose. You hand it back to her. She's got her gloves on. You use the hand sanitizer, but bam. And you put on the N95 mask, you get the negative test, and up you go to visit your loved one. Every time. every week. So I'm tested once a week for COVID. I make a joke by saying if my husband is ever concerned that he might, have crossed somebody with COVID, which I doubt, I'll just take him to see my mother. Because it happens in 2 minutes. So I that's what I don't understand. So if you're someone in authority here, maybe you can explain to me why my convalescent hospital here in my town is able to do 1 and 2 minutes and why we don't have that everywhere for people. Like airlines. I mean, wouldn't that be super cool if you got off the plane in your favorite destination, UK, Hawaii, and the person there was like a few nurses off to the side and they ran you through like they do customs when you come back from out of the country. And they just hand it back. Go, I don't know. I think people who are forward thinking are always asking, like I'm asking right now, about these solutions, right? Yeah. So anyway, that's what I'm talking about. I love My Hitchhiking Ghost by Terri. Thank you, Michael Roman. They illuminate all my other collectibles. So this is what Michael discovered. Michael sent me some beautiful pictures of, and you should look at his posts if you get a chance, of how the rest of his ghost collection appears ghostly. And you may have noticed that Deanna popped in just for a little bit to say hello. And that's because it's not only her birthday today, but it's also Haunted Mansion birthday today, she says. So, is that right? I say, is that right? Because I'm not an authority on all things Disneyland. I lean on you for that. Paul, how are you? Good morning, Terry. Keep pitching so we don't lose any more people and we can laugh about these masks sitting in our drawers. I know, right? You'll have this pile and you'll be like, I remember when. It's like I did A Touch of Disney and we're all in masks. And I can't wait till, 10 years down the line, they're going to say, look at this, guys. You sit in the rocking chair. This was the time when everybody was locked down. Everybody had to wear a mask, including Mickey Mouse. Everyone had to wear a mask, including Mickey Mouse. Kind of messed up that sentence there, didn't I? And it was amazing because you know how human beings are. They didn't just go with the N95 masks, although in many cases they had to. Nope. They came up with many creative means of masks, from Stitch to Mickey Mouse to the Terminator to Star Wars to Grogu to etc. Some beautiful ideas. Nightmare Before Christmas. It became a way to show off and state their artistic talent. And that's what creative people do, youngins, is they take lemons and they make a good, fine pitcher of lemonade because humans are magical. Yes, I look for that day. I can't wait for that day, actually. That's going to be a fun day. Hitchhiking Ghosts are my first real collectibles, so my bar is now impossibly high. Just collect my stuff. No, I'm kidding. There are some amazing pieces out there. And that is such a nice thing to say, Holly. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Yes, those are the Cadillac. Those are probably some of the greatest things I have ever done. And I'm healing. I hyperventilate every time the manufacturer says not this week. Oh gosh, I just, you don't know, you guys, and I wish I had a camera positioned so you could see over here where your boxes that I send them in for your experience, they're here waiting. They are, I may have to dust them off because they've been waiting so long doggone it. That's all you can say, and then realize it's the pandemic. It's just, but it's painful. It is so painful. And there are times, I'll bet you, when people have manufactured things like this with electronics in them without the pandemic that have been delayed. I have learned a lot that I like to keep a control on the reins so that my A to Z goes when I say my A to Z is going to happen. The last time I did this was with Disney. And the last time I remember such a huge delay that was painful was with when I did Maleficent. I did a beautiful, I don't know if I have a picture of her, but I did a Maleficent for Disney, and we offered her during the Villains event. You remember the Villains event where that pin with Maleficent like this and the dragon behind it, and it was like now on eBay, I think it sells between $400 and $600. That pin was what they gave you when you exited the Villains event. Well, during that event, I created a Maleficent, and the Maleficent, I'm going to look and see if I have it here to show you. I'm just looking to see if I've got it here. Let's see if I've got her in here. A lot of times I'll tap this and then I'll go, look, what's missing? The very thing I'm talking about. Oh, no, here she is. Okay, this is not a full on of her. And my friend Nate, who you just heard from in the feed, he found one, and you can still find them. They're just a touch more expensive, but let me show you. Okay, so this is a little bit dark. And let me see if my picture, well, let me also do this, because Holly is right. The hitchhiking ghosts are lovely, but I just want to do this so you can fully see the picture. There you go. Now you can see everything. This Maleficent, and I'm going to zoom in on the side here. That's the upper, and you can't really see it too well, but there's a raven. And then you see here, this is my actual wax sculpture. She's about just under 5 inches tall. You can see it's got the sleeves, the head tilt is lovely, everything quite beautiful about her. She was offered at the Villains event, and then Disney told them when they would receive it, because you pre-ordered it. That way, when Disney back in the day, and I can't remember exactly when I made her for the Villains Passover event, it was probably in the 90s, like late 90s. But anyway, she maybe in the early 2000s, so don't quote me. Things started to run together like watercolors. But my point is this, that Disney told, and again, see, I'm real picky about stuff. Anyway, Disney told everybody they would have them from that Villains event, which happened around Halloween. They told them they would have them no later than or it might have been in November. Anyway, they told them they'd have them around February. What they forgot was that they do a lot of their production in China, and China has the Chinese New Year, or the Chinese New Year and Chinese festival. They have this big festival, and Chinese New Year festival, and it shuts down for like a month. Nothing is produced, nothing is created. They're all having a big time celebrating that which is their native culture. And Disney couldn't tell them they'd give them more money. Disney couldn't tell them we promised. They had to tell people it was delayed, and there was no pandemic. We just were thinking in kind of our way. And unfortunately, China has what they do. So whenever people are talking about manufacturing in China, and of course now it's all different because of the pandemic, but take yourself back, before the pandemic. They told everybody, if you're going to have something manufactured in China, try to avoid the New Year. Just try to do it on the opposite side so that you can get the delivery without delay. Everybody still got their sculpture. Everybody still loved their sculpture, but it just took time. So, and then if you've ever backed a Kickstarter project, as I've said before, they are always having a challenge, because they are, the way a Kickstarter project works is you pull together all of your get your videos together, and you get with the manufacturer and you say, how much is going to cost to create this? Now I'm going to go on Kickstarter and get the backing. And then you finally get into it with the manufacturer, and then just like me, they run into walls, hurdles, and you're just like hanging on for dear life to make sure that it gets through. No matter how good you are, stuff will pop up. So I appreciate your patience, and I love that people started saying what they said, because it's true. They are gorgeous and they're worth the wait. So thank you for doing that. Angie says, you're too sweet. I enjoy my days with all of you. I look forward to it. It helps me so much during these hard times with the pandemic. Angie is one of the people who reached out to me and said, please, I could really use your broadcast. And that is so nice of her. You know, I really, really appreciate it. And I hope at some point she comes on board with the tribe, because you guys, like her, are so special. So thank you, Angie, for those kind words. My friend and I both vaccinated. We're wanting to go to a concert next week and decided to safely just have an evening at her house and watch the concert online. Tracy, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And those of you who have a channel, if you guys are rock stars and you have a million subscribers, it's different on YouTube for you. Okay. But for those of us who only have a few hundred, many of us are conditioned to be all about subscribers and all about people watching it while we're on. And honestly, we just just breathe. Many people are getting out and about. They're going out, at least in the case of Tracy. When you go out, it might just be your backyard to do some outdoor activities. For me, it's having a coffee on my front porch on my bench and saying hello to my neighbors, watching the kids play up and down the street. I really didn't go out at all a lot during the pandemic. I stayed inside. I had a high risk. My husband is we were both high risk for different reasons. But he was high risk, like you get to have it before everybody else, the vaccine. I tried to talk the nurse into giving me one too, and she was like, nah, not till it's your turn. So I got it, but at least you try, right? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. But now I find myself, I loved Costco. I find myself very hesitant about going to Costco. I adore Costco. But I had a friend who said, just look for their off hours. Look for hours that people most normally won't shop Costco. And I probably can get in and out of there without, having this concern that I have about being around too many people, even vaccinated. I was never big with crowds to begin with, but now I'm even more. I mean, I found that has come out in me. So just give yourself some flack is what I'm saying. And thank you for saying that, Tracy, because, there are art shows trying to plan. There's a gala that I'm going to be a part of on September 11th, the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity. Check them online, Red Dot Auction. There's some really fun paintings on there, including my own. All I'll say is it's called What's Up, Doc, but there's so many that are What's Up, Doc, because you have to pick it because of the painting, not the artist's name. The artist's name isn't on there, but check them out. There's some really cute paintings, and it helps to support Chuck Jones Center for Creativity, which all through the pandemic has given you, for a small donation, all kinds of animation classes, art classes. They are absolutely terrific, and I love being a part of their charity event. Each painter is given a 12 by 12 inch canvas. Some painters decide to do bigger ones, and they donate their own canvas, and then you can bid on them. And it's very exciting. It's very, very exciting. So the auction opened online Saturday. So you can actually see the paintings virtually, as Grim Grinning Tracy is telling you. You don't have to go and see them live. In the gala will be, and the art gallery will show it off in Irvine, I believe. So you don't have to actually physically go. You can see it online, and it's kind of nice. I don't think the photographs do them justice, but they're still cool. They're still really cool and worth looking at. So I hope you will. I hope you will take a peek at them. Many are cute, and the idea is the artist can do anything. So an artist may not do Chuck Jones subjects like Bugs Bunny and Gossamer and Martian or whatever. They do what they think is best. But you can see that I'll tell you right now, there's less paintings than normal. This is early, so that could be part of it. For whatever reason, they'll put more paintings up as they come. But just like I said, as an artist, if you're trying to get ready for an event, you're trying to determine if the pandemic is going to keep people away, like this concert, Tracy, you got to think about, am I going to do it? Am I not? And yeah, wow. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So So yeah, baby, it can be a little nuts. Indeed, it can. Indeed, it can. So, so that is exactly what we as people who want to get in these events that have people coming together want to be sure. I mean, look at the Olympics. You know, the Olympics, they had to stay in the Olympic Village, and still people got sick. So it's no wonder that people are a little bit on the concerned side. She played the nasty little girl in Bright Eyes. Wasn't she amazing? I mean, she was amazing in Bright Eyes. I think she kind of that is one movie I did see, film I did see, and you can see it. And if you haven't seen it in a while, now that you know that was the Dear Jane Withers, you got to check it out because she is quite a character in that movie. They do talk about that a lot, Bobby. So I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, Bright Eyes was it's she does a great job. I mean, as a child actress, she was very busy. She was very, very busy. And like many, when she got older, maybe not as busy, but then she lands, of course, Josephine the plumber, and woohoo, you know. So it's really kind of cool. I'm writing it down because I would like to see it again. Yeah, it's not. I like Shirley Temple. Margaret O'Brien is my child actress. I've mentioned that before. I'm a big fan of hers and got to meet her. And I still don't know why they don't have a box set of Margaret O'Brien movies, but I digress. She, Jane Withers, was amazing. And thank you for popping that up, Bobby. It is difficult for me to keep my mouth shut. Yeah. I think you're with all of us. I went, last Friday, you noticed I didn't broadcast if you guys were looking for a Friday broadcast. That's because my doctor said, you're broadcasting. Not last Friday, it's Friday before. But she said, look, you're coming in. And then I sat and I mentioned I did a lot of this. Yeah. Because she had enough. Like Deanna says, she had tried so hard to be a doctor that was sympathetic, but she just sat with me and vented. And because I care about her and she cares about me, I spent a good 20 minutes just listening to her because she needed to get it off her chest. Didn't judge her, just let her speak, just let her talk. Because, many of her patients would have been offended, but I completely understand her position. And I understand what Deanna's saying because it can be tough. You're really biting your lip, right? Tony Brandt says, true, don't let people waste your time on purpose. Exactly. I couldn't say it better myself, Tony. You get to the point where your time is valuable and you say, you're wasting it. You might not say it to them right like that. I'll bet you when you're 80 or 90, you say, you're wasting my time. Get. Those are going to be the days, right? I feel when you hit your 80s and your 90s, all bets are off. You can pass gas. You can be sharp. You can be whatever you want and just say, look, I've been here long enough. I get it. Okay. I can make such a statement. Just don't judge me. Just get off my lawn. Nate says you help people much more than once a week. You're a blessing, Nate. See, Nate always is there. See, Nate's in the tribe. I'm telling you. He's a rock star. I'm telling you. Paul, is that the one where the packages to okay. Is that the one where the packages to a cab in the airport? I remember that one. Paul, I know what you're trying to say, but I'm not understanding it. It's Monday. I'm going to blame it on that. I have a huge storage unit in Utah, says Leslie. Since I ended up moving here to California, Cali, she says, many people abbreviate that. My house went into storage after a big yard sale, and I haven't been able to get any of it moved down here. Exactly. So you see how some of you are thinking about storage now that I've talked about Cami Kidder's storage thing. And for those of you who are joining us later, it's not a segue. It's actually, this is how I met the amazing Jane Withers, is because of a storage thing, a thing called storage. And we talked about her storage units of her collection. And it was amazing it was amazing to see the items and hear her tell about some of the items that she collected. I mean, we're not saying that your storage unit has not cool stuff in it. We're just saying, time to kind of think about it. And, do you want to schedule a time to visit the storage unit and maybe thin it out a little? And like Leslie's saying, she would kind of like to maybe bring it all to California, which is now you're saying, do I want all of it? You go into your storage unit, you stand and you look at it. Do I want all of it? Do I want some of it? Do I want none of it? If you want all of it, you're going to think about how to get it down there, aren't you? If you want some of it, same deal. And a garage sale. Maybe you know somebody in the state like Utah that can help you have such a thing, so you're not carting it down and then having your sale. That can be annoying, can't it? But then if you don't want none of it, then you start to talk about the garage sale, or you just walk up to the guy in storage and let him do it. But why should he have the money on your things, is what I say, he or she, right? So yeah, Leslie, I'm not surprised you're thinking of it right now. Deanna says, my parents' storage unit was broken into. Here's another problem. When someone rented the one next to theirs and unscrewed the wall in between. Yo, wow. Did your parents have things of value? Can you imagine being the person, that's what you do? You get a storage unit and you're going to break into the ones next door. What if he pulled down the wall and it was snakes? I know. I went back to the snakes again. But hey, that would stop you, right? Venom, what did I do? I mean, because seriously, you don't know what's in there. You really don't. And you're kind of like, until maybe he watched to see your parent, but this is someone who really needs to use his genius for good instead of evil, wouldn't you say? Cami also covered a fire that swept through a storage unit down, I think it was closer to San Diego. It caught fire and almost the entire storage unit was lost because someone was living in their storage unit. I hate if that's you, because that's against the rules with storage units. But she was burning some sort of candles, having some sort of, meditation thing, and it got out of hand and it burned the place down. That's really sad on so many levels, right? So, yeah. But I mean, that can happen with your house too. Hopefully it won't. But I mean, you don't want to be fearful of doing a storage unit because it could get on fire. But the point is that there are so many situations that you kind of think about it a little bit, don't you? Deanna, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope there wasn't anything too valuable that your parents lost. Leslie says, thanks. People were being called back to the lot this month, but that has changed to a few months down the road, even next year. Since I have work, I'm being considered critical or something like that. Even so, I have to get a pass for each day as my ID is not activated yet. Exactly. So this is what's happening, okay? Because my husband is in the entertainment industry as well, and a friend of mine my friend Jeff, who works at Universal Studios, says that they really are going to have a hard plan in September. But that was before the Delta virus started pulling its stuff. So I don't know if that's going to hold true. And that's with all businesses and all people. They're in a wait and see mode. So there we are, wait and see, right? And that's the part that's, weird. Good morning, Terry. Missed the first hour. We'll catch up later. Thank you, Joseph. You'll notice it started at 9:40 today. And when you watch the front end, you'll see why. So don't run in at 9:25 because I had a hitch in my get along today. I don't know if you know, I heard over the weekend that there's a Ghostbusters reference in Galaxy's Edge. Oh, funny. No, I did not hear that. And how sweet of you to tell me. Oh, that's exciting. Ghostbusters has a way of just, all of you and the original Ghostbusters have been so kind and sweet. And now we have this new one that has a couple of, It has promise. Doesn't it have promise? You know, I think they're working hard to make it have the same feeling, but in a different way, which is exactly how you make a follow-up movie. Because it's not even a sequel, is it? It's a follow-up. And maybe it's a sequel. But the point is, when you're making a movie that follows another, you want to make sure you have the heart of the original, which that other Ghostbusters one, which were made nameless, didn't really have, did it? So the good news is it makes you all go back and see the one that I was in, and I thank you for that. I thank you for that. Thank you, Joseph. I can't wait to hear about that. Whoa. That's supposed to be a few months down the road. Yes, exactly. And a few months down the road is what? September, October. Yeah. But it changes, Leslie. That's the thing. They have to go with the flow. And where we thought we'd be in September a year ago, even 6 months ago, is not where we necessarily are ending up. I hope we end up there, but I just don't know. It's one of those very, like I said, you're inside, when in doubt, wear a mask. That's all I say. Vaccinated or not, when in doubt, wear a mask. I really miss not being in the offices, Angie. I miss my team. It's like my extra family. It was hard to be away. We are part-time in the office now. Well, at least hopefully you're all part-time, so you can all come in and go, hey, My mother-in-law had family down, had her youngest son down from up north and his family, and she said she couldn't go to sleep at night because she loved staying up and hearing voices in the other room as they chatted themselves to sleep. It was such a warm and fuzzy feeling because she loves having her family in her home, but they couldn't come down and visit because of the pandemic. And now that we're all vaccinated, it's pretty exciting. And we were funny when we got together. We got together a couple of weeks ago and we didn't know about this, we're all vaccinated, but we're like, where had we been? And that was, you do that mask dance. You just, hopefully it'll get better, guys. Hopefully it'll get better. It's in Doc. Is that Undars? The side of the display of the Mini has the same markings as the Ghostbusters containment devices. Ooh, you guys are good. They're good. I mean, even if I did the movie, do I remember the containment unit? Of course, I've met a lot of you who are cosplayers who love Ghostbusters, and you call yourself different Ghostbusters groups. You'd know what it is, wouldn't you? You probably saw it just like Joseph. I know that. Terry's like, huh? Thank you, Joseph. I love it. I got to go check it out, eh? Leslie says, but there's no affordable space in California, and I have units here. The Utah stuff is mostly in my collection. I eliminated stuff I didn't need. Even so, there's lots. Yeah. And Leslie, my dear, you know that if you ever have to part with your collection, that the Disneyana fan club is a great place to do it. You grab yourself a table. Maybe you go up to Utah, take a small car load of it, bring it back to California, and sell it if you have duplicates or the stuff has different meaning for you now. The Disneyana fan club is a great way to get that going. I had one of our dear friends in the Disneyana fan club passed away, and her daughter she had a lot of collection. We don't know what we're going to do. We think a garage sale is a bad idea. When you have Disney collectibles, a garage sale is a bad idea because the mindset of people coming for a garage sale is to get a bargain, is to undercut you. Sometimes you'll get lucky and they won't, but a lot of times they're there to get something for a quarter that's worth way more. That's just a kind of a visual for you. So better is to go to a place where people understand collectibles and the price of collectibles, and you rent a table. And this is what I suggested to this young lady. And I remember she said to me that her brother was completely against it, But he did it because I spoke to them and others spoke to them and said, no, 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 Terri's right. Let's rock this thing. And she did. And people came because they loved her mother. She was a wonderful, wonderful member in the Disneyana fan club nationally. We all loved her. She was amazing. And we loved her daughter. We just love each other in Disney, right? Disneyana fan club is really a neat place. But the show and sale, you get yourself a table and you price it accordingly. And, you say, this is, maybe you've looked it up and seen the prices. And then you say, okay, I'll do it for this much. They had a great sale, Leslie. They had a great result. And many people came because they love the mother. Can I get something to remember the mother by, myself included? I have a couple of pieces that I bought that I just love. One of them is a jacket that says Disney Animation on the back. And Disney Animation Crew, and I just love it and bought it. And it's one of those baseball jackets. So when do I get to wear it in California? But I still love it. So, but that's what I'm talking about. They pick up collectibles they like for the price that they think is reasonable, and it helped. One hand washes the other, one person helps the other. So it's pretty cool. Pretty doggone cool. So Disneyana Fan Club is a great place, Leslie. If you can just fill your car, this, Leslie. You've been. So if there's a few things you want to get to people, they are going to adopt it and take care of it. That's the cool thing, is you have certain collectibles and people adopt them, and they're going to a good group of people who aren't just going to throw them up on eBay. They want it because they've been searching for it. So yay. And congratulations about Utah. Oops, I remember a commercial where a bunch of packages show up in a cab at the United Red Cap desk. Yep. And was that your commercial? One of them. Sorry for the bad typing. I blame a lack of coffee. Yeah, that's one of them. United Air Express. The one that I was in is a postal delivery service. It's an actual postal office, and I place some of the packages on the back shelf that are waiting to get delivered. It's there too. If you go on my playlist of my appearances and stuff, I think it might even be under commercials, but I don't know because I did Foster Farms. But yeah, that's where you look at it. That's where you go. Those packages are hilarious and fun and exciting. And that was my very, very first commercial. I was sick as a dog because I thought that was when SAG, Screen Actors Guild, and AFTRA, American Federation of Television and Radio Actors, was separate. Now, as you know, we are together. We are team one. We are one. We are all one. And before that, and so AFTRA was where most commercials happened because they were recorded on videotape. Yes, videotape. And things like movies were film. Well, now many things are digital, so we had to, Needless to say, I thought it was an AFTRA, which I had been a member of for several years, and it turned out to be SAG, Screen Actors Guild. And I was so excited. I got well really fast. I was thinking of telling my boss I was too sick, and then all of a sudden I saw that they were using a film camera, and I said, oh boy, I'm doing it. And I did. And that was how I got my scent card. They laced a thread in my teeth so that I could use my head to open the eyes, and then both heads said, United! Yep. That's good for you, Paul, you little treasure hunter, you. By the way, I think I have one of your Maleficents that you mentioned. I think you do too. It's a very special sculpture. Many people are out looking for it. My friend Nate Singleton, who you heard talking in the comments today, he found one. And when he bought it, it was without the little plaque. There was a plaque that I had that told you, it had my signature, and it told you about the sculpture Maleficent. And I think it had how many there were, maybe not. But that plaque was missing. And when I was working with Disney, they gave me a couple of art proofs. So on one of my art proofs that was messed up, and if you want to see it, just mention it to me or message me and say, and I'll pull it out for the Ask Me Anything, and you can see what I mean. I'll show her to you, the actual one I have, and talk about that plaque. I actually popped it off of the sculpture and sent it to Nate. And here's the reason why. Nobody's going to argue with me, the sculptor, that that's not an original piece. Okay. But if you don't have the plaque on your piece, they might not believe that it is, even though the sculpture is phenomenal. Who's going to try to bootleg that, right? But the point is that he wanted it complete because, like many of you collectors, you want the whole package. So I just sent it to him. He was beside himself because who does that? I do. I love you guys and I want you happy. On the lot, masks are worn in and out. Yeah. Disney is really taking a hard line in a lot of these cases. Paris is really surprising me. And many people are saying, go France, because France is drawing the line and saying, we're done. And somehow I'm not surprised. Maybe that's why I love going to Paris so much, is that they're just like, we're done, and then they say we're done in French, Bonjour, we're done. Au revoir. It always sounds better in French. I'm a big Ted Lasso fan, and one of the soccer players is French, and he's always speaking in French. And in the last episode, his French is translated, and the guy says, it just sounds better in French. And they were so right. Everything's better in French. So that was cool. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, yes. I'm in every show and sale and will be at the upcoming one, September 12th. Always love seeing you there. Love seeing you there too. So, my dear, that's what I'm saying. Should you go to your storage unit and decide there is some collection you'd like to part with, I highly recommend parting with it at a show like the Disney Anna Show and Sale. First of all, the tables, I understand, are extremely reasonable. I'm always given one because I'm an Imagineering artist, and I do a lot for them. I love them. I'm going to brag about them like crazy. But also, it's not that expensive, and this, like if you could get it for the 12th, that might be too tight for you. But you had a few things you want to put on a table. It's great. It's great. It's a really cool place, and everybody has the right mindset. Yeah. I have adopted all too many wonderful items and others. Show and sale is dangerous. It is if you don't want to buy. I know, because above my head, you see these teeny tiny mousers right here? Well, if I lean over, this is Robo Mickey. Okay. I bought at a show and sale. He is all metal. He's completely robotic. And if you want to see him closer, let me know on Friday and I'll bring him closer. Okay. I love him. But my goal was not to buy anything. It was to sell to you. But every once in a while, as Leslie says, you get something that you just can't live without. And it got ya. And Mickey got me. Was the Maleficent sculpture the one in the picture, on the picture frame base? Yes, Joseph, that is absolutely correct. It's not a different sculpture I'm talking about. I do have that one. Yes, that is exactly it. And there were only, the edition size was based on how many people attended the Villains event. Okay, so one of the complaints many of collectors, pass holders had back then was that if they couldn't get there at the rope drop, and that's my statement, okay, because you all know what that means, at the very beginning, they missed out on a lot of the high-end collectibles that artists were offering. So myself and an amazing woman named Linda Votas, she still works with Disney, I think, she and I brainstormed that it would be great to show you the wax that you saw and then do a color illustration, which is what I did, and next to it, and put a price next to it and have them pre-purchase it. That way, the edition was based on how many you purchased at the event, and you could come at rope drop, or you could come just before you got your pin on the way out, pop in and put your name to it and say you want one. That allowed you to have something collectible, unique, and special at that show without missing out, because a lot of the stuff would sell out and you'd walk home with nothing. And many of them said, I want a token from there. And everybody got the pin which they loved, but they still wanted a figurine. And that's how that Maleficent was created. Turned out to be a really good way to do it that way. But then, of course, Disney decided they wanted more of the painted flat stuff. It's easier to reproduce than a sculpture. You got to have a case, a base, as you've said. So it became more cost effective for them. They could save a lot. When you're doing prints of something, it's pennies on the dollar, right? So, and then you sell it you're making better profit. It's just the way it is. So that's why there are sometimes less sculptures when you're going to these events than the two-dimensional stuff you can find. Okay. Just the way it is. Michael. Hello, Michael. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. When they air, I do. I get residuals because I am with the union and they don't do what's called a buyout. Years ago as a puppeteer, we got bought out. That was the way it is. We kept saying we're performers who use only our hand, and they kept saying, nah, your face isn't on camera. So no. But then Jim Henson came to our aid. He did. And several others, Aaron Oscar, many people, and we campaigned and we got it on the ballot and it went through and now we get residuals. Yay! Still takes work, but we do get them. I mean, it doesn't take work to get the residuals. It's just when you're doing the original contract, you have to just, be sure that they don't, because they're always going to, producers are always going to try to save a few pennies. And so you got to sit there and hold your ground. And now that the Foster Farm Chickens performers are older, we hold our ground even more than before. So yeah, but we do. The answer to that is absolutely yes. I don't recall if that was from Disney Divas event or another event. I don't think it was Disney Divas. I've been to so many. I know, Joseph, I know. It was a villains event. It had Pirates of the Caribbean there. Eric Robinson and myself were guests. Eric Robinson, you may remember from the 100 Mickeys that he painted. Amazing guy. We were kind of the Mutt and Jeff when we were on campus as Imagineers. He's an amazing, tremendous painter. He's gone on now to do other stuff because, you come to a point where you want to do your own thing. And sometimes, yeah. But Eric's stuff was there. Pirates of the Caribbean was there. I had a Chernabog. My Chernabog was there. And he was pretty amazing. I wonder if I have a picture of him. I can show you my Chernabog. There were only 5, which was kind of humorous. Let me see if he's here. I always try to put everything in, and then you guys ask the one question. Oh, no, he's here. Okay, I don't have him in color, do I? No. But I do have him in his wax and there he is. So here's Chernabog in the wax. This is the original Chernabog sold to Nicolas Cage through Disney. I don't know if he still has it, but he did buy it. And here he is primed, the full on. The thing I love about this Chernabog, and I know he's a little dark, but the town is below, and then it goes up, and he's over the mountain, and then his wings frame it. Good news is he's not a chess piece, so I don't have to worry about the wings being so wide. But indeed, he was part of the villains event too. Only 5, and you had to put your name in a tumbler, and they picked 5 names, and then you got the right to pay for it. Crazy stuff, right? Yeah, crazy. Deanna says, I went to a Disney outlet store and didn't buy anything. This is the sad part. Deanna's saying here that she, during the 50th anniversary of Disneyland, the 50th, and Walt Disney World's about to have theirs. But during Disneyland's 50th anniversary, people said they had to strap down their wallets and keep some of their credit cards up in their hotel room because they would lose their paychecks because there were so many fun things for them to buy for the 50th. Then the 60th came along. They did not have that problem because a lot of that stuff looked like it came from a Chinese garage sale. You know what I'm saying? So this was tough because this is one of the reasons I still create and many artists still create, because we want you to have good quality stuff like the ghosts. And Disney in some cases is not delivering. When you see something that looks not only like it's from China, but a Chinese garage sale, you go, oh my gosh, man, what are they doing? And you're surprised. I think there's a reason for this. Okay. And one of the reasons is they used to have, and you're all gonna go, oh yeah, they had an advisory board of collectors and fans. You were on an advisory board. Disney would go to you, like I have my tribe, and say, what do you think? And the collectors would weigh in. This is a character that we've wanted for a long time. They'd put it out, and everybody went gaga. But then they got rid of this. And I think it's one of the biggest mistakes they've ever done. The other mistake they did was they're not producing Disney dollars. Disney dollars was like your money for nothing and your chicks for free. Money for nothing and your chicks for free. Yeah, because nobody, okay, a few of you cashed them in, all right? Okay, most of you collected them, framed them, and they're all over your wall. Tell me if I'm wrong. And during the 50th, Charles, is it Boyer? Last name Boyer? Was the first name Charles Boyer? Anyway, the painter who did this amazing kind of whimsical, colorful Disney stuff, he did a collectible $50 bill for the 50th anniversary. He was there signing it. They only did 500. How many of those 500 do you think really ended up spent at Disneyland? So a few mistakes were made. Personally, if I were Disney and you were going back, because you notice that with the passes, they call it the magic key. Somebody went back and saw those magic key passes and said, ooh, the annual pass is called the magic key. Great name, yeah? And it is. It is. But let's go back and take a look at those dollars because they were official money. Disney didn't just make up a bunch of Disney dollars. They actually became legal tender. Yeah, because Disney can do that, okay? So they did that. Not that it matters to you, but still, that's that experience part. You push it that extra bit, so it's super cool. But many of you collected and kept them. I bet if you posted right now, you'd tell me you have some. Why would you get a gift card? Why would you make a gift card? If they can keep reloading and reloading and spending and reloading and spending and reloading. Why did you do it? Many people take those gift cards that are metal from Galaxy's Edge and make necklaces and stuff. That's clever. That's real smart. There's a thinker, okay, on the Disney team. But really, Disney, get those dollars back. They're yours. They're super. And I wish I had come up with that idea for Terri Hardin. I would love a Terri Hardin dollar that you would collect and keep forever. Different denominations. I'm just saying, it's a brilliant idea. It is a brilliant idea. Janice says, I want to go, but that is the main reason that I might stay away. Dangerous for my wallet. I know. You have to kind of walk around like this. Go straight to my table. But the challenge with that is that if you go to my table, you may just have to invest in my Giggling Pumpkin book, which is available for pre-sale. Online store above my head on terrihardin.com. Click it. $18 now for pre-sale. If you wait until the show and sale, it will be at least $20. Thank you, Janice, for making that great segue. But that would be the problem. You'd wear the blinders, you get to me, and you'd go, okay, I got to get that beautiful hardbound stitched book, made in the USA. Children's book. It's fun. All about pumpkins, and it's very cool. Residuals are lifesavers, especially during the pandemic. Just saying. They are. They're very nice. But I'll tell you what was good for me in the pandemic, and that is creating a nice piece that you all love and you guys buying it. That was very helpful. Yeah. And now I'm doing the Rolly Crump chess set. Here's one of the pieces. Isn't it cool? And I'm getting ready to work on that. And there's a lot that I'm working on to make that into a chess set. A lot of thinking, but I'm real excited to get it done. So Rolly and I might be at the winter event, the one that the show and sale happens in February or March, depending, that Rolly and I can maybe be together and sell the set then. That's the goal. So you heard it. My friend had your Chernabog, but it was one of the items that sold after he passed away. I'll tell you, Joseph, there's only 5. Plus 3 art proofs. But there's only 5. And they are extremely popular because he looks really cool. And that's not just because I did it. It just looks really cool. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece. It's about that big. Yeah. If you want to see him, I actually have my art proof still. So if you want to see him, just let me know and I'll actually pull him down and show you. Message me and I'll look in the messages. And then Friday during the AMA, I'm happy to show him to you. Show him what he looks like in real life because I can. Plenty of stuff for kids. Yeah. And that's could be another challenge, right? Huge mistake. You were so right there. Yeah, Joseph. Hey, guys, look who it is. It's Joseph Yakovetic tuning in and chiming in. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Now, Joseph Yakovetic and I will be, fingers crossed, we're like Ted Lasso. In Ted Lasso, they do this. They do this a lot. Come on. Anyway, Joseph and I, join us with your fingers crossed for Marceline this year. Joseph will be a guest artist. The two of us are joining each other in Marceline, Walt Disney's town where he grew up, to have a special event called Toonfest. And we are like, please. It happens in September, around the 18th. So you can go to... I have a video in my feed that talks about it, and also you can Google it, look it up. Yeah. So Joseph and I will be there, and it's going to be a lot of fun, along with Mindy Johnson. So if you're a fan of any of us, or you just love Disney, all the reason to come and see us. Charles Boyer did the Disney dollars. Actually, I don't know that he did all the Disney dollars because they vary in illustrations, but he did do a special one for the 50th. And boy, you should have seen the line. It was like Starbucks in the morning, big old line. Star Wars before it opened, big old line at Disney to get that dollar, and it cost you $50. Okay, but there were only 500, so you had to get in line to get it. I mean, seriously, you know, you saw Pretty Woman. Big mistake. Huge. I have a $50 signed bill from the 50. There you go. Bam, Joseph. Have you tried to find out what that's worth? And it better be insured, buddy. Because that's what I'm talking about. That is a big one right there. That's a big one. That's huge. So congratulations to you, Mr. Speed Demon and Forward Thinker. Disney dollars were the best. Absolutely, Janice. Absolutely. I don't know why they got rid of them. Joseph says, we have some Disney dollars and have kept them only because they were gifts, are no longer being processed. I know, Joseph, I know. When I went to Tokyo Disneyland on a special tour, I was invited to be part of Tokyo Disneyland around 2005. And I took the Pirates of the Caribbean Disney dollars as gifts. And I remembered that when I gave them to people that I appreciated from Tokyo, Japan, they thought they were real money and said, we cannot accept. And I often had to meet the supervisor to help them understand it was a collectible, unique, and then they were allowed to accept it. But then I ended up giving some to the supervisor as well, of course. But I had them. They were easy for me to carry in my pocket or bag, and it was a great gift because one of the things, if you're traveling abroad, if you ever do, is to bring gifts for those who do something really special. You want to make sure. In my case, if I forget this, I do a sketch real quick. But if you're not Joseph Yakovetic or myself, where you couldn't do a quick sketch, just bring a little something. And that's a really fun thing to bring. One of the challenges about going to China is everything is made in China, and trying to find something that's Disney that doesn't say on the back, made in China. Can you imagine being in China and you give them a pin that's really cool, but it says made in China on the back? So that's why the Disney dollars were so special. They just made everybody light up and get excited, especially now that you don't get to see them. I have my stack somewhere. I can't remember where it is, but when I find it, I will show you what they look like, because I still have a few of those too, just like Joseph. Can't wait to be there with you. I know. Are you just like so excited? That's what I mean. I'm like this. Please don't cancel. 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 I mean, seriously, across the board. So that's, I know you're saying it too, Joseph, and I know Mindy's right with us, all of us together. Yes, see what I mean? There are all kinds of artists who did Disney dollars. And like I said, and I know Joseph concurs, and Mindy would too. Anybody who has a brain would say, I wish there were Disney dollars that were, I would love to design Terri dollars and have you collect them like you do Disney dollars. That would be a dream for me come true. Absolutely. Design this beautiful line of Terri dollars and y'all buy the different denominations and keep them. Don't spend them. One can dream, right? Paul says, Creative Advisory Council member from T. It was so much fun. Now, Paul really knows trains, among other things, okay? He knows trains. And if you remember this area here from 2002, you remember 2002? If there was anything that involved a cool train thing, train adventure, it was a very good chance Paul and train enthusiasts like Paul had something to do with it. And Paul has a real good knowledge of Disney and what he loves and articulates very well. So that's what I'm talking about. You got people like Paul who are on this advice. It's a no-brainer. It's a win-win. How do you think my ghosts are so cool? Is it because I, the artist, am so cool? Thanks for playing. I'd like to take all that credit, but that's not the case. I asked y'all. I did. I asked people like Paul and Leslie and Joseph and Michael J. Luzzy and. The reason they were successful is because I asked people like you. And the ghosts kept coming up. The ghosts kept coming up. The ghosts kept coming up. And I was like, gosh, you guys, you're collecting a gazillion hitchhiking ghosts. Why do you want mine? And many of you said, because I know they'll be like real ghosts. That's the same with my sculpture of Groot. I was like, there's a million Groots. What do you want mine for? Because yours will be Groot. It won't be a sculpture of Groot. It will be Groot. And you know how touched I am when you say that to me? You realize how absolutely wonderful it is for an artist to hear someone say that to them, as you have always given me that gift over and over again, which is why I have my own advisory committee. I have you guys. Believe me, I can't know every character, and I don't necessarily love every character. So I have to rely on you to help me do the best I can with the characters. I love you guys for it. And a lot of you have joined my tribe, and I'd love to see Paul and Leslie in there too. Seriously, if you talk to people who are in the tribe, $5 a month is nothing to be a part of what you get and what we all get. Okay? But we have to have skin in the game. Can't do it for free. Got to have skin in the game when it comes to that, because there's some very important stuff that goes on in there from me, from you, and it's just the way it is. $60 a month, but I keep it low. I keep it on the $5 a month. If you want to do more, you want to contribute more, you can. Behind the scenes, there's stuff there. I've been a little lax on that. Training videos, which I'm working on now. And then the big kahuna, which bless you guys for being a part of that. I love you for it. But the point is if without you, I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd have to be off camera doing what I do. So that allows me to be on camera, both public and private. So I hope you'll join the tribe. Patreon.com/Terri Hardin. I'd love to have you. Hint, hint, Paul. I'm upset I'll miss out on both ToonFest and Disneyana sales since I have a wedding to go to in San Diego that same week. But what a wedding! Is it going to be outdoors? You know how many weddings didn't get to be outdoors, Joseph? I'm going to miss you, sweetheart. But, yay for you in that wedding. And if it turns out that Sunday is not a wedding day for you at the Disneyana show and sale is a Sunday. Saturday is a different Disneyana event, but our Disneyana show and sale, September 12th, is Sunday. So if you find yourself free, come on down, honey. We'd love to see you. I have a Robinson he was selling at his table at the old NFFC convention where he was a speaker. It is one he did as a tribute to Herbie that he signed for me. He had a special story for that one. Here's the thing, Tracy, you are at a monumental event. Okay, anyone who was at this show where Eric was a speaker, I got a little story for you. We are going, we're going a little longer than 2 hours today, but I feel that since I was late, let's give you a little bit more. Allow me to over deliver. And if you got to go, I get it. Okay. But here's the thing. Eric Roberson didn't want to speak at a Disneyana convention. He felt at the time, why do it? Many artists who are Imagineers or Disney artists are concerned that you might just be a little bit too involved in your Disney swimming pool. What does that mean? Let me use Star Wars as an example. Back in the day when I was a Star Wars cosplayer in the 70s and 80s, that's 1970s and 1980s for those of you who would rather not do the math, there were people who I met a woman who claimed to be Darth Vader's love child and glued hair on her chest. Or maybe that was the lady who thought she was actually the reincarnate of Han Solo and glued hair on her chest. Okay. There were some very unique individuals that were a touch scary in the Star Wars cosplay universe at the time. That was costume contest, but kind of out there. Okay. Not saying you're out there. Just saying there were those who are out there. Today, there are even more of those who are out there. And so Eric had met a couple of people that made him sort of make the decision. Many of you were sort of out there. But I had a conversation with him when the president at the time, Rebecca Mosley, called me and said, we really want Eric to speak. So would you mind calling him and asking him? So I called him up and I said, Eric, you got to go do this thing. And he was like, no, I don't want to. What would I talk about? Well, here's the things that the NFFC, that's what the Disneyana Fan Club was called before, taught me at my first talk about maps. I was doing the Disney 45th anniversary puzzle map, which ended up being the last Disneyana show. Different show, puzzle map of all of Disneyland. And I thought you wanted to know about my life as an Imagineer, about my life as a creative individual, but you wanted to know what made me, who am I? You wanted to know about my life. You wanted to know about my background. You wanted to know about what was it that made me keep fighting to be an Imagineer, and how did I become Imagineer? Not so much of how I made the map. You didn't really care about that. I mean, seriously, you didn't. A big audience too. So this is what I said to Eric. I said, Eric, you got to share what it feels like to be you. Eric is an amazing, amazing painter, and Disney loved Eric. You all know. I mean, Tracy, he was out painting live at Disneyland for a long time. Amazing, amazing. People just went gaga for Eric, and I'm sure they still do. His stuff is amazing. But he was nervous. I don't want to talk about my private life. I said, you don't have to talk about your private life. You don't have to give your address. You don't have to give your son's birthday. You don't have to show any pictures of your son. But when he found out about his first son, I think he was doing 100 Mickeys. I could be wrong. But that's what I suggested. How did you feel while doing something for Disney when your wife came in and said, honey, guess what? I'm pregnant with our first child. What did that feel like? See, the thing about NFC convention people, now Disneyana Fan Club people, is they want to know your heart. This group wants to know your heart. They want to see, to take from E.T., they want to see that heart light. And so I said, Eric, just talk about how you felt when you got the job. How did you feel when you heard about your wife and your first child was going to be born? How did you feel when you sold your first piece? How did you feel? How did you feel? How did you feel? If you sit up there and you speak about this, all your stuff will sell. Then you sit at that table and you shake hands, kiss a few babies, Say hi to the people who absolutely love you, and you will discover that there's so much beauty in these people. You'll have to wear sunglasses. You'll have to wear, because they are so bright. You have to wear shades. Seriously. Seriously. And he did. And after the event, he called me up and he was so choked up. He was so excited. He was so blown away because of all of you out there who are fan club members and know about the Disney Fan Club and are true Disney die-hard enthusiasts. You blew him away. You made him realize what he as an artist had been missing. And that was a good infusion of you. Whoa. It's electrifying. And it's true. It's really, really, really true. And he just couldn't believe it. And Tracy, you were there. You're one of those people. You're one of those people who helped Eric to realize there's gold in them there Disney fans. And I don't mean getting your money. I mean walking away with this warmth and pixie dust and love. And y'all are just the best. Not just Disney and a fan club. All of y'all who have a club. You Disney enthusiasts are the best. You're all about making people happy. There might be one or two that, but that person doesn't understand the true Disney way, do they? And now we're all worried because we're wondering if Disney really knows the true Disney way. Those people who are in charge. They really need to get back to that committee that Paul was on, that advisory board. They need those people. They need you. This is why a lot of the stuff is not cool that's coming out. In the Disney stuff, it's not cool because they're not talking to you. And that is a component you must not erase. Absolutely must not erase it. Your ghosts are so cool because you are. Oh, mwah, I love you, Teresa. What a lovely thing to say. What a lovely thing to say. That gets me. Thank you. And Leslie is like, thumbs up. She's probably at work. And then look, Kendra Reed, who was Kendra by another last name, who was president back when it was NFFC. One of the best presidents is Kendra. One of the most. Have you guys ever met Kendra? I don't know if you know her by her old last name, but I'm not going to say it because she's Kendra Reed. She's lovely. But the point is that when she walks into a room, this is true of all you that are Disney people. You walk into a room, the room lights up. You don't need electricity. It just lights up. And if all of us get together and we're at an event, we could power New York forever. And so that's what I'm talking about. So I think Disney made a mistake when they didn't have an advisory committee and have people like Kendra and Paul and Joseph and Leslie and people like that who they know, they love, they care about Disney. They just need all of y'all there. And if I didn't name you, it's not because you aren't. It's just that you don't want to be here for 3 hours, I'm sure. Stick your name in there like Tracy, All y'all need to be on the advisory committee. They need to bring that back. That is exactly how I felt going. I'm always most interested in someone's heart and story. It makes my print 1,000 times more special. I was always helping Anita and Rebecca. Yes, exactly, Tracy. And understand that was the first show Eric did. You are part of the group that changed his mind. Changed his mind. Touched his heart and changed his mind. And if and when I get the chance to chat with him, which I did a few years later, he always talks about what a great experience that was. Yay. That's y'all. Terri just said, give him a chance. And he took it. Good for Eric. And then you delivered. Thank you. You. Love ya and all. Yeah, Kendra, see? We're all going, Kendra, whoop, whoop. Yeah, Kendra. Oh my gosh, I love Lonesome Ghost. Yes, there. See? I think Disney Plus is successful because we're starting to see the hearts of the cast members. Those are my favorite shows. Yes, I like sitting with an Imagineer and learning about Imagineers, and I'm sure you do too. But I got to tell you, learning about the people who make the magic spin, That's your cast members. That's the people on deck. Both Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Tokyo Disneyland, Hong Kong Disneyland, Shanghai Disneyland, Disneyland Paris. It's those smiling people that meet and greet you as you walk around the park that make the magic real. So if you're one of those cast members, pat yourself on the back and congratulate yourself, because you're the one that's keeping it rolling. Seriously. Yeah, you're the magic, and we love you for it. You make it, if we are the cake, you're the icing on it, which makes it all that much better. Yep. Kendra Trahan, one of Terry's biggest fans. Look at, she got to share it, you see? Now, many of you are going, Kendra Reed, Kendra Trahan, what? It's Kendra, what? See? She was, she is a little, it still continues to be a firework, a sparkler. Just, you all are this way, okay? But yeah, and she's written a couple of books. You got to look them up. Disneyland Detective. Nowadays, it's probably got a few things in there that are from the past, because Disney has done a few changes and shifts. But it's still a fantastic book. And it was such a fantastic book. Guess who copied it? Disney copied Kendra's book. True story. Yep. For real. Yep. They did. Yeah. That's when you know you're good. They copy you. Oh, Kendra, it's good to see you. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to see all of you. Look at 2 hours and 10 minutes. We're getting really good at being just 2 hours long. What's going to start to happen is I may make it tighter. But guys, today we were having all kinds of crazy trouble. I want to thank you all for staying and hanging with me as long as you did today. I really appreciate it. Maybe you think I should start a little later. Maybe the 9:30, 9:40 area is a little better for you. If you like that, maybe 10 o'clock, you're welcome to tell me. If a little later start works better for you, I'm an early bird, so I automatically think early is better. But always make your suggestions if you want. And again, please join Terry's Tribe on Patreon. It's a lot of fun. Our Zoom calls are magical. We have done some great stuff. Tracy says, when Alice Davis was being honored, when she arrived, I was honored to be her escort, the car to her table, and talk with her. Yeah, she's a rock star. She's a rock star. She sat with me. Well, Kendra and I, Kendra, you remember this? We went to her home and had lunch. It was really cool. And then I disappeared in the bathroom for a very long time. Remember that, Kendra? Alice Davis started to get very worried about me. But unfortunately, what she had done, fortunately and unfortunately, fortunately for me and unfortunately for everybody else, she had put all of Mark Davis's love letters to her in the bathroom. You remember that, Kendra? And oh my gosh, I didn't want to leave the bathroom. So, Kendra and Alice are chatting away, and then all of a sudden they're kind of, where the heck is Terry? What the hey? So they came and knocked on the bathroom door, and I said, Alice, oh my goodness, this is the most amazing bathroom. It had love letters from Mark, and he illustrates. You know how good Mark Davis illustrates. So they were, just beautiful. If you've got the book that she produced about her husband, a lot of those sketches are in there. I was in tears, and then Kendra, of course, I opened the bathroom, and then Kendra had to go in there and read the card, and then Alice is standing there. We left the door open, and then she's kind of explaining to us about these. So, Tracy, what an amazing, she is such an amazing, dynamic woman. And she very gently told me that when sculptors sculpt something for Disney and it's a Mark Davis design, that she usually gets one. And I was like, you're kidding. And she said, nope. And I was like, oh, what she's telling me is that I should send her my Maleficent, my Tinkerbell. So guess what I did? I sent her my Maleficent and my Tinkerbell. And anything that was a Mark Davis design. That she was instrumental in my Tinkerbell that tiptoes across the map. She sent me turnarounds that Mark had drawn officially to help that be real. So I'm with you, Tracy. A dynamic, magical, amazing woman. Thank goodness. Hugs and loves, Deanna. I remember you, Kendra. See, Tracy's like, yeah, now I know that name. Best bathroom break ever. Right, Kendra. Kendra is also responsible, guys. I mean, it's so happy to thank her officially in front of all of you because she is an amazing, amazing, generous young lady, a great person to be around. But all of this Roly Crump chess set, Kendra was right there when Roly and I were sitting together over our lunch. She was with me too, as Roly and I and all of us sat there and brainstormed about what could we do, and the chess set was born. So Kendra, you'll be happy to know that the chess set is in production. I'm working on it now, and I'm a little concerned because I think it's going to be quite an investment if collectors decide they want it. We're going to have to figure out how it's going to work. But first, I just need to get the chess pieces made and make sure that Roly's cool with my thought process. He says, do whatever I want, but you know that's not true. Whatever I want that helps him to be happy too. So I'm excited. And again, Kendra, I have to say, I really appreciate you reaching out to me today. And for everyone, what a treat you are to be here. So I love you guys. Please consider my Patreon page, patreon.com/Terri Hardin. Your voice is needed. What a fun group we are. $5 a month, $60 a year, not much. Just skip that Starbucks and you've got the monthly fee. And I hope you come and join because it is a lot of fun. Exactly. See, you just never know. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So thank you all for joining me today. Thank you all for being so patient. Let me know if I should start later. I'll consider it. I'm going to ask my tribe on Zoom what they thought because I got several tribe members here. And we'll see. Maybe we start a little later. Maybe we let you know that that's what we're going to do. You have a magical week. I love you. And what can I say? Do something nice for someone else. It'll make them feel so much better. And you feel so much better too. Okay. If you haven't seen Ted Lasso, Run, Don't Walk, it's amazing. I know it has nothing to do with Disney, but it does have the heart of Disney, and you will absolutely love it as I love you. See you Friday. Let me know. Write to me, message me, post in the comments. Don't wait till that Friday because sometimes things are in the place where I'm not, and I don't want to leave you to go get it. So if you want to see Chernabog, if you want to see some of these sculptures, let me know before Friday so that I can actually bring them out and you can see them live, okay? If you want to see them live, okay? Hearts and flowers, thank you so much for being so patient. I love y'all so